Today, I'm going to show you guys my squad. As you may have seen, my house is pretty small with no garage, so my bikes stay in this closet. I've emptied it so you can see. There are a total of 6 bike hooks in here, but I have more like 10 bikes. The other bikes stay in a storage locker, which is ridiculous, but that's my reality at this very moment. Today, we'll be talking only about the bikes you see most on this channel. Here we have the Trek 4900. This one gets asked about a lot since it was in so many of my early videos. It now belongs to my sister Emily and still runs great. From the RockShox Recon suspension fork to the D&M dropper post to the Deore XT derailleur, everything on this bike is an upgrade. Oh, except the headset bearing cups. Those are original. The great thing about the Trek is that it's super light and capable of taking a bad beating, as we've seen. Since I credit this bike with the start of my YouTube channel, it will always stay in the family, and I'll always keep it running no matter what. Next is my hardtail, which is a Diamondback Sync'r Pro. Although this bike was given to me by Diamondback, I was never paid or contracted to endorse it. The Sync'r Pro is the top tier bike in their hook, line, and sinker series, which means there are 3 less expensive bikes you can get that look and feel very similar to it. The Sync'r Pro is an all-mountain hardtail, which means it's slack, aggressive, and not particularly light. I have broken nothing on the Sync'r but the chain and one of the tires. Both tires have been replaced with 2.4-inch Maxxis High rollers, which just barely fit. They're awesome. The only working part I upgraded on this bike was the seat post, which is now a KS Lev Integra dropper post. As you can probably tell, I love hardtails. They're nearly indestructible, easy to throw around, and great for techy jumps, trials, and general shenanigans. I plan on collecting as many hardtails as I can. Next up is my SE Everyday. This only ran me about $300. I bought it to make a short series of videos on BMX and didn't expect it to survive. Surprisingly, it did, and will continue to be a long-term workhorse for me. So far, I've upgraded the front sprocket and chain. I originally left the brakes in this bike, but it just didn't feel right to me. I always rode brakeless as a teen and still long for the distraction-free experience. I know it's hard to understand if you've never ridden brakeless, but it's magical. Anyway, I've already gotten my money's worth out of this bike and can't wait to use it some more this winter. This is my Inspired Foreplay, which is a street trials bike. Think of it as a cross between a BMX and a purebred trials bike. If you don't know what that is, it's a bike made just for hopping around on stuff. Although I did a short trial series on this bike, I don't ride it very much. Still, it's worth keeping around in case I need a trials bike for a video. Remember the swing bike? This bike has changed hands among my friends for the last few years, and is a bit of a novelty. The hinge in the middle lets you sort of drift around turns and do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's super fun to ride, fast, and probably one of the coolest novelty bikes I've ever ridden. Quick story. My friend Kevin owned this swing bike a few years back. We left it everywhere and never thought someone would have the balls to steal it, until one day he left it outside his front door. Someone must have carried it down the stairs with great difficulty and rode off with it, with even greater difficulty. Kevin was super bummed out. We all were. One day he was in his car at a stoplight and saw a dude riding by on his swing bike. He pulled over, jumped out of the car, and stopped the thief. He threatened to call the police and had the bike back within seconds. We were all amazed to see the swing bike again. The next bike is my Diamondback Mission 2, which is an all-mountain bike also given to me by Diamondback. This is the second to the top of their Mission series. I chose this bike because I wanted something really heavy-duty that could handle anything. Although it's not the lightest, it's extraordinarily robust. The one exception to this is my front rim, which has now been replaced twice. I guess there are better rims out there than the Easton Arc. The Mission 2 came standard with a KS Lev Integra dropper post. I want to mention that on all my mountain bikes I have platform pedals, and actually I'm not very picky about them. any decent aluminum platform pedal will do. I've ridden clipless in the past and I like it. I'm just better off with platforms since I do so much jumping around, and they're easier to shift around and bail on. If I add an XC or CX bike to the squad, I'll definitely be clipping in. The next bike is the Diamondback Release 3, which I do not currently own. This bike was lent to me for my New York trip, and I'll be riding another one on the Utah trip. It's considerably lighter than the Mission 2, has less travel, and a shorter chainstay. These factors make it really fun to jump around on and treat badly. On heavy descents, it's not as plush as the Mission, but everywhere else it has the edge in performance. Another notable difference is that the Release uses RockShox, while the Mission uses Fox. While I don't have an opinion yet on which is better overall, I'm a huge fan of the Pike. Finally, we have my Nimbus Oracle 27.5 Plus mountain unicycle. This was given to me by Unicycle.com, the manufacturer of all Nimbus products. This is my first unicycle. It's the one I learned to stay up and ride around on. I made a whole series of videos on this and had a lot of fun in the process. A lot of people asked about this disc brake, which seems pointless. Well, a unicycle is fixed gear, which means that the only way to slow down is to pedal slower. On a really steep and technical descent, that doesn't cut it, so this brake lets you maintain control. Let's just say I haven't needed it yet. So far, this Oracle has sustained absolutely no damage, yet it has taken every bit as much abuse as my other bikes. I plan on taking this out a whole bunch of times this winter as well. There's one more vehicle I forgot, my Arbor Skateboard. Of course, it doesn't have pedals, but I actually use it as much as any of the bikes we saw. This skateboard has rust all over it and never comes indoors. It sits outside my front door 100% of the time, so I can just leave the house and grab it. If I get caught in the rain, these shark wheels my brother-in-law got me seem to work just fine. Yes, it's rusty, and no, I don't take care of it, but that's the life of a grab-and-go anything. This is the most convenient vehicle I have, so I'm including it in the bike check. So that's pretty much the whole squad. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd like to hear what you guys have stacked up in your garages, closets, and storage units. List them below. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.